All right, so at this point, once you've set up all of your services and the pricing all looks fairly accurate and it's on point, now it's time to get into the form logic. So this is where you're going to dictate the behavior of your form and do things like sales tax, discounts, service cart, booking, things like that, okay? So we're going to head over to the logic page, and this is what we're going to see. So let's just go through it step by step. I'm going to give you kind of a brief rundown, cover the small things, and then each of these complicated things, there's going to be more info related to each section. So first is the progress guide. This is a guide bar that shows along the top as you go through your form. Then you've got the option to enable booking. This is really useful if you want customers to be able to book on your form. You can turn it on or off. There's also a support section here that'll help you a little bit more learn about each of these specific features. You've got the service cart feature. This is relevant for if a user selects multiple services, but they only want one after seeing the price. They could use a service cart, similar to how e-commerce would work. Then you've got the ability to auto-expand or collapse services. This is really useful to conserve vertical space. If you have a lot of services, like if a customer selects multiple different services, it could start to take up a lot of vertical space. This helps collapse that. Route optimization. Again, this is a little bit more of a complex feature, but there is another video here. You can go in and learn more specifically about that. This basically works with booking. So if you have booking turned on and a customer tries to book, they could only book days that are either open totally or where a job is going to be within a range. So if you toggle it on, you can set a max distance between jobs. And if you already have a job booked, say for next Tuesday, and this customer's address is more than 20 miles in this particular case, or whatever threshold you set here, they couldn't book that day. All right, just a way of keeping your jobs a bit closer together so you're not wasting as much time driving between jobs that are far away. Blocked IP behavior. This is useful if you want to, like let's say you have a person who is continuously spamming your form. Well, the Autobidder form collects their IP address, and you can either choose to block them from the page so they can't see it anymore, or you can scramble the pricing, which is my favorite. It'll show them, like it'll take whatever your price is, it'll scramble it up and make it like a random price. And it would just, because odds are the idea is that it's probably a competitor or somebody you don't want using your form. So we just do a little bit of misdirection. Then you've got the option to set form titles. This is for each section of the form. You can give it its own title. You've got an option to add a secondary button. This is the button that a customer would see after getting their pricing. You're mostly going to use this if you have booking turned off, or this is a button that they could see after they go through and book. And you could say like a what to expect next, or like how to prepare, something like that. Totally optional, how you want to do that with your workflow. Then you've got your lead capture message. This is a message that a customer would see after completing the form. Then you've got thank you message. Same thing, it's just structured a little bit different. Then you have the measure map options, which I covered this a little bit in the measure map video, or in the measure tools section. You have the feature to turn on building detect and auto detect. These are available on the pro plan. They're really not necessary. They just make the tool a little bit easier to use for mobile. Basically, this is just a feature that a customer draws a boundary, and then the tool will automatically detect their building and automatically detect any property like driveways, stuff like that. Then you can add your own custom help video if you want to explain to your customers how to use the tool. Then we got package pricing. This is going to have its whole dedicated video because this is a pretty complicated, not complicated, but this is like a pretty in-depth feature that requires more of its own video, but essentially is like giving the customers the ability to have, instead of just one price for house washing, you have good, better, best. Your basic plan is the cheapest and includes just a house wash. Then you may include a better package that includes window cleaning, and then a better one that includes whatever else, right? And for, of course, more money. Then you've got bundle discounts. This is where you can make it so that if a customer selects 2 or more services, you can set a discount. So you can set the discount anything you want, basically between 1 and 50%. And you can set a minimum number of services required to get the discount. Usually, if you're using that, you're probably not going to use package pricing. And also another thing here is there is this dedicated video for package pricing that you can learn more about. Now, customer discounts, this is where you can add things like a military discount or an elderly discount. We'll cover all of these discounts more in their dedicated video, but just part of the overview. Now, guide videos, these are very useful sales features for getting your customer bought into your system, eliminating uncertainty, and building a little bit of a relationship with them before you've even actually spoken to them in person. Highly recommend using videos. Sales tax, pretty straightforward and obvious. You toggle it on and it'll automatically add a line item for sales tax based on the price. Pricing disclaimer, this is just telling the customer, like, hey, this price is just an estimate. We're going to review it. And you can add custom disclaimers, and you can also add conditions. So if certain services are selected, you may want to show certain pricing disclaimers, right? Or you could just show one generic one that shows all the time. You just add it, and then you don't add any conditions. Then you've got your lead contact information. This is the info that you're collecting from the customer. So you've got their name, email, phone. You can toggle it on. You can toggle on address, and then you can make it required. A permission to contact, a notes field. How did you hear about us? And then an image upload. Personally, I like to use the image upload because a lot of your customers will upload it. And then it's awesome because you go to your customers page. Once a new lead comes through, you see all the info. Plus, you'll see any photos they uploaded, and you can. It's just, especially if you like to do virtual estimates, it makes it much easier to do that. Then you've got the property data autofill. This is a somewhat useful tool. And again, there's a video that goes more in deep detail on it. It's more complex, but basically the way it works is you can collect the details about a property from an online database. And so it'll collect the square footage of the house, the material, and the height of the house. And so that's useful for, like streamlining the house wash process. Usually if you're using that, you're probably not using the measure tool. So it's a feature that, you don't necessarily need to use, but for some people, they find it useful. Then you've got location-based pricing. This is where you can set your business address and set a max radius you're willing to travel. If anyone is outside of that radius, then they would get an additional fee. So you charge a fee per mile or a percentage of the quote per mile, and anyone outside of that range would be charged more, for the job, and there would be a line item. Then you've got meta conversion tracking. Very, very useful if you're running ads. You toggle it on. It's going to have you enter your Pixel ID as well as your conversions API token, and then you're going to input your business website and an event code for testing. And again, basically the way it works is whenever a person completes your Autobidder form, it's going to automatically send that conversion to Facebook. And if you are running ads, or you spend more than a couple, maybe even just $1,000 a month on Facebook ads, this will be an extremely useful tool for you because your targeting is going to be much stronger. Your conversion tracking is going to be better. And ultimately, you're going to get way better results from your Facebook campaign if you do that. So yeah, that's a brief intro. Now, like I said, there are going to be many of these subjects like guide videos that are more complicated. I'm going to have dedicated videos, but this was an overview as to the logic page, kind of a bird's eye overview.